Ever get the feeling that there's more to life than meets the eye? Like there's this whole other dimension just waiting to be explored.
You mean like a hidden reality or something?
Yeah, kind of like that. Like,
Yeah.
what if there was a text, a really old text, that could offer a glimpse into those deeper layers of existence and connect us to something bigger than ourselves?
Now you're talking my language. Okay,
Yeah.
so what kind of text are we thinking about here?
Well, imagine stumbling upon a collection of writings that seamlessly blend the wisdom of Greek philosophy with the mystique of Egyptian magic. A text that's captivated thinkers for centuries.
Sounds intriguing. I'm hooked.
Yeah.
All right, spill the beans. What is this mysterious text?
You've just entered the world of the Corpus Hermeticum.
Corpus Hermeticum. Okay, I've heard of that, but I gotta be honest, I don't know a whole lot about it.
That's what this deep dive is all about.
Yeah.
We're going to crack open those ancient pages and see what treasures we can uncover.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
So the Corpus Hermeticum isn't your typical ancient text. It's not a single narrative like you'd find in the Iliad or the Odyssey.
Right, I was gonna say, it's more like a collection of writings, right?
Exactly. It's a compilation of 17 treatises, all attributed to this enigmatic figure, Hermes Trismegistus.
Hermes Trismegistus. Now that's a name that just screams mystery.
He does have that adventurous aura about him, doesn't he? Like a character straight out of an Indiana Jones movie.
Totally. And the name itself, Hermes Trismegistus, it's like a mouthful, but there's something kind of magical about it.
Well, the Trismegistus part means thrice greatest, which hints at his reputation as this master of wisdom.
Thrice greatest. That's a pretty impressive title. I'd settle for just once greatest.
And get this, he's often depicted with 3 heads.
3 heads? Seriously?
Yeah, it's a symbol of his mastery over the physical, mental, and spiritual realms.
Wow. Talk about a triple threat. So is he like a god or a philosopher or what?
Well, that's where things get even more interesting. Hermes Trismegistus is believed to be a fusion of the Greek god, Hermes, known for his eloquence and quick wit.
Right. Hermes the messenger god.
Exactly. And he's also blended with the Egyptian god, Thoth, of the god of writing and wisdom.
Oh, wow. So we're talking about a serious combination of intellectual and spiritual power here.
Precisely. We're dealing with a blend of Greek philosophy and Egyptian mysticism all rolled into one. No wonder this text has captivated imaginations for centuries.
Yeah, I can see why this would be a real head-scratcher for scholars trying to figure out where this text came from.
That's right. The origins of the Corpus Hermeticum have puzzled scholars for ages. But most likely, it originated sometime between the 1st and 4th centuries AD during a period of intense cultural exchange in the Roman Empire.
Ah, that makes sense. It was like a melting pot of ideas back then. So are these texts like stories or poems? What are we dealing with here?
Well, each one is structured as a dialogue often between Hermes Trismegistus and his disciples like Thoth or Asclepius.
Okay, so it's like we're eavesdropping on conversations between a master and his students.
Exactly. It's like an ancient masterclass in mysticism and philosophy.
Now that's something I wouldn't want to miss. So tell me, what kind of wisdom are we talking about? What are some of the key themes or ideas that make the Corpus Hermeticum so unique?
Well, think of it like a magnificent temple supported by 6 sturdy pillars.
6 pillars. Okay, I'm intrigued. What do these pillars represent?
Each pillar represents a core theme, a fundamental principle that shapes the entire Hermetic worldview.
So it's like a framework for understanding reality and our place in it.
Exactly. And the first pillar, the foundation of it all, is divine unity in creation.
Divine unity in creation. I'm sensing a theme of interconnectedness here.
You're spot on. The Corpus Hermeticum posits that there's a single all-powerful source, a divine mind called the nous.
A nous, I see. So like a universal mind or consciousness.
Yes. And everything in the universe, every star, every blade of grass, every thought we have, all flows from this nous.
So it's not like this distant, detached creator god, but a force that permeates and connects everything.
That's the essence of it. We're all part of one giant cosmic web woven together by this nous.
That's a beautiful image, and it really challenges that idea of separation that we often get caught up in.
It does. And that brings us to the second pillar, which focuses on human divinity and dual nature.
Human divinity and dual nature. Okay, now we're getting to the good stuff. What does that mean exactly?
Well, the Corpus Hermeticum tells us that humans hold a unique place in creation. We carry a divine spark within us, a fragment of that nuisance. But we're also embodied beings bound to the material world.
So it's like we're these divine beings trapped in earthly forms, always yearning to reconnect with our spiritual source.
Precisely. And it's that tension, that tug of war between our spiritual and material natures that shapes so much of the human experience.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that feeling, that pull in both directions.
I think many of us can. And that tension leads us to the third pillar, the role of knowledge and gnosis.
Gnosis.
Yeah.
Now, there's a word you don't hear every day. What's the Hermetic spin on knowledge?
Well, gnosis is not your typical book smarts. It's not about memorizing facts or mastering theories.
So it's not just about accumulating information, but about something deeper.
Exactly. It's about direct experiential knowledge of the divine. Imagine a flash of insight that completely changes your understanding of yourself and the universe. A moment of pure knowing that goes beyond intellect and touches the very core of your being. That's gnosis.
That sounds almost like a mystical experience, a profound shift in consciousness.
It is. It's not something you can just Google or read about in a textbook.
Right. It's about going beyond the mind and tapping into something more intuitive, more experiential.
And that brings us to the fourth pillar, the ascent of the soul.
The ascent of the soul. Okay, this is getting good. So what does that entail?
The Hermetic texts describe an extraordinary journey where the soul, guided by gnosis, ascends back towards the divine source, shedding its earthly limitations along the way.
So it's like a spiritual climb, a process of purification and liberation.
Exactly. It's about letting go of everything that weighs us down, those fears, those limiting beliefs, all the baggage we pick up along the way.
I like that, shedding those layers that keep us from experiencing our true nature.
Precisely. And as we continue to explore the Corpus Hermeticum, we'll delve deeper into this concept of the soul's journey.
Sounds fascinating. I'm ready for the next pillar.
All right, pillar number 5, mysticism and theurgy.
Mysticism and theurgy. Now we're getting into the realm of magic and ritual, right?
Well, the Corpus Hermeticum does present practices like meditation, invocation, and rituals that were believed to align you with those cosmic forces to tap into the very energy that flows through the universe.
So it's not just about passive contemplation, there's an active element, a way to engage with those energies.
Exactly. That's the idea behind theurgy. It's about recognizing the power within and using it to connect with the divine, to heal, to grow, and to potentially even influence the world around you.
But it's not about manipulating those forces, right?
It's about aligning yourself with the cosmic flow, with the divine will. It's about working in harmony with those energies rather than trying to control them.
That makes sense. So it's more about cooperation than domination.
Precisely. And that brings us to our final pillar, the one that binds everything together, ethics and virtue.
Ethics and virtue. Okay, so even though the Corpus Hermeticum is deeply mystical, it also emphasizes the importance of living a good life.
Exactly. It's not enough to just meditate, invoke divine energies, and seek gnosis.
Yeah.
You also need to walk the walk, live a life of integrity and compassion.
So it's not just about personal transformation, but about how we interact with the world around us.
Precisely. Virtues like compassion, honesty, and self-control are not just moral guidelines. They're essential practices on the path to gnosis. It's about aligning your actions with the divine order, both within yourself and in the world around you.
It's about recognizing that our inner world and our outer world are interconnected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that living ethically isn't just about being a good person. It's also about creating a more harmonious and just world for everyone.
I like that. It's a reminder that our actions have consequences and that we have a responsibility to use our power wisely.
Exactly. And that responsibility extends beyond our human interactions to our relationship with the planet as well.
Right. We can't separate our spiritual growth from our impact on the environment.
Precisely. And that's why the Corpus Hermeticum emphasizes the interconnectedness of all things. It's a reminder that we're all part of this grand cosmic dance, and that our actions ripple outwards, affecting the whole.
So these 6 pillars really paint a vivid picture of Hermetic thought. It's about recognizing our divine nature, seeking knowledge and wisdom, aligning ourselves with cosmic forces, and living a life of virtue and purpose.
Exactly. It's a holistic approach to spirituality that encompasses both the inner and outer worlds.
I'm really starting to grasp the depth and richness of this tradition. It's not just about escaping the material world, but about transforming ourselves and the world around us.
Precisely. And as we continue our deep dive, we'll explore how these principles can be applied to our modern lives.
I'm excited to see where this journey takes us.
Me too. But before we move on, I want to circle back to something we mentioned earlier, the soul's journey through spheres.
Oh yeah, that intriguing concept from the Discourse on the 8th and the 9th.
Exactly. Now, it's not technically part of the Corpus Hermeticum itself.
Wait a minute, I thought that's what we were talking about.
We are, But think of this text as a bonus track on a greatest hits album.
Okay, I get it. It's still deeply rooted in Hermetic thought, but it offers a more focused exploration of the soul's journey.
Exactly. So are you ready to delve into this cosmic obstacle course?
Absolutely, let's do it.
All right, imagine the soul ascending through a series of celestial spheres.
Each sphere representing a stage of purification.
Exactly. It's like a cosmic ladder, with each rung offering unique challenges and opportunities for growth.
So it's not just a straight shot to the divine. There are stages challenges, a process of letting go along the way.
Precisely. And the challenges we face in each sphere correspond to specific earthly burdens that we need to shed in order to move higher.
So it's like we're peeling back the layers of our ego, our attachments, our limiting beliefs as we ascend.
Exactly. It's a journey of self-discovery and liberation.
Wow, this is getting really interesting. So what are some of these spheres and the challenges they present?
Well, let's take the lunar sphere, for instance.
The lunar sphere. Okay,
Yeah, indeed.
I'm listening.
This sphere is associated with our emotions, our instincts, and our deepest desires. It's where we might confront those knee-jerk reactions, the emotional turbulence that keeps us from experiencing true peace.
So it's about mastering our emotions, learning to ride the waves without getting swept away.
Exactly. Think about those times when you're swept away by a wave of anger or anxiety or jealousy. That's the lunar sphere calling for some serious introspection.
Wow, I can definitely relate to that. It's like we all have our own personal lunar sphere to navigate those emotional undercurrents that can pull us off course.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And learning to navigate those currents is an essential part of the soul's journey.
So what happens when we manage to move beyond the lunar sphere? What's the next stop on this cosmic climb?
Well, that's where we'll pick up in our next deep dive.
Okay, you've definitely left me hanging. I can't wait to hear more about this soul journey and what other challenges await us in those higher spheres.
Trust me, you won't be disappointed. We'll explore the remaining spheres and uncover the wisdom they hold for navigating the challenges of both our inner and outer worlds.
Sounds like a plan. I'm ready to dive back in.
Excellent. Until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep diving deep. Last time we left off with this image of the soul ascending through a series of celestial spheres, each one representing a stage of purification. It's like a cosmic obstacle course.
Right, each sphere presenting a unique set of challenges.
Exactly. And we were just about to explore what lies beyond the lunar sphere, that realm of emotions and instincts.
Ah, yes, the lunar sphere where we wrestle with those deep-seated desires and emotional turbulence.
Exactly. So if we manage to navigate those choppy waters, what's next on our cosmic climb?
Well, the next stop might be the sphere of Mercury, the realm of communication and intellect.
Mercury the messenger. Okay, so we're moving from the heart to the mind.
You could say that here the challenge lies in moving beyond superficial thinking, those mental chatter and rigid belief systems that can keep us trapped in limiting patterns.
So it's not just about being smart or having all the answers.
Not at all. It's about using our intellect wisely with a sense of discernment and open-mindedness.
It's about recognizing that there's always more to learn, more to explore, more to question.
Exactly. And that willingness to question, to challenge our assumptions, is crucial for growth.
Because those rigid belief systems, they can really box us in.
They can. And they can prevent us from seeing the bigger picture, from expanding our understanding.
So in the sphere of Mercury, we're challenged to become more flexible in our thinking, more open to new ideas.
Precisely. It's about cultivating a curious and inquisitive mind, a mind that's willing to step outside of its comfort zone.
I like that. So we've navigated the emotional currents of the lunar sphere, and we've honed our mental agility in the sphere of Mercury. Where to next?
Well, our journey might lead us to the sphere of Venus, the realm of love and beauty.
Venus. Now that sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing this isn't just about romantic love.
You're right. It's about cultivating a deeper kind of love, a love that extends beyond the personal to encompass the whole of creation.
So it's about seeing the beauty in everything, even in the mundane.
Exactly. It's about recognizing the interconnectedness of all things and approaching life with a sense of gratitude and compassion.
It's about shifting our perspective from a place of scarcity and separation to a place of abundance and unity.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that we're all part of this grand cosmic dance, each playing a unique and essential role.
I love that image. And it reminds me of that Hermetic principle, as above, so below.
Ah, yes, a fundamental concept in Hermetic thought.
If we can cultivate inner harmony and beauty, maybe we can start to create a more harmonious and beautiful world around us.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that our inner world and our outer world are reflections of each other.
Okay, so we've journeyed through the spheres of the Moon, Mercury, and Venus. What other celestial realms await us?
Well, as we continue our ascent, We might encounter the sphere of Mars, the realm of action and courage.
Mars, the warrior planet.
Yeah.
So this is where things get a little more intense.
Perhaps. Here we're challenged to step into our power to assert ourselves in the world, to take action aligned with our purpose.
But it's not about aggression or domination, right?
Yeah. No, it's about channeling our energy in a focused and constructive way.
It's about using our willpower to overcome obstacles and to create positive change.
Exactly. It's about being a force for good in the world.
And after Mars.
Our journey might take us to the sphere of Jupiter, the realm of wisdom and expansion.
Jupiter, the king of the gods. So we're talking about a higher level of understanding here.
Yes. In the sphere of Jupiter, we seek wisdom that goes beyond intellectual knowledge. It's about tapping into a deeper well of understanding, a wisdom that comes from experience, from intuition, from a connection to something greater than ourselves.
It's about seeing the bigger picture, the interconnectedness of all things, the patterns and cycles that govern the universe.
Exactly. And it's about using that wisdom to guide our actions, to make choices that are aligned with our highest good and the good of all.
Okay, 2 more spheres to go. What's next?
Next comes the sphere of Saturn, the realm of responsibility and discipline.
Saturn, the taskmaster. Okay, so this is where we face our limitations.
In a way, yes, Saturn represents those boundaries, those structures that shape our lives. It's about recognizing our responsibilities, our commitments, the things we need to do to create a stable and meaningful existence.
It's about discipline, self-control, and a willingness to face those challenges that help us grow.
Exactly. It's about embracing those limitations as opportunities for learning and for developing our character.
So each sphere represents a different aspect of our being, a different challenge to overcome.
Precisely. It's like a cosmic training ground where we hone our skills, develop our virtues, and prepare ourselves for the ultimate destination.
Which is?
The 9th sphere, the realm of pure consciousness, the union with the divine source.
The 9th sphere. Wow, that sounds incredible. What can you tell us about this final destination?
Words can hardly describe it. It's a realm that transcends language and duality, a place where the individual soul merges with the cosmic ocean, becoming one with the all.
It's the ultimate goal, the culmination of the soul's journey.
It is. It's a state of pure bliss, pure awareness, pure being.
Okay, I have to admit, all this talk of celestial spheres and cosmic journeys is pretty mind-blowing. But I'm curious, how does this all translate into practical terms? What did a Hermeticist actually do to embody these teachings?
Oh, a great question. And that takes us into the fascinating world of Hermetic practices, those rituals and techniques designed to cultivate gnosis, to align oneself with cosmic forces, and to live in accordance with Hermetic principles.
So it's not just about theory. There's a practical side to Hermeticism.
Absolutely. And it's important to note that there isn't one single codified system of Hermetic practice. It's been more like a fluid tradition, adapting and evolving over time and across cultures.
So it's not like a step-by-step instruction manual, but more like a set of guiding principles that individuals could interpret and apply in their own unique way.
Exactly. But within that framework, there are certain practices that have been consistently associated with Hermeticism.
Like what?
Well, one that stands out is theurgy, which we touched upon earlier.
Right, theurgy, working with divine energies.
Yeah.
But what did that look like in practice?
Think back to those intriguing texts like Asclepius. They describe a variety of practices, from prayers and invocations to the creation of talismans and the performance of elaborate rituals.
So it's like magic.
It has some similarities, yes. But unlike stage magic, which focuses on illusion and entertainment, Hermetic theurgy was a deeply spiritual practice.
It was about cultivating a genuine connection with the divine and working in harmony with those energies.
Exactly. It was about recognizing the power within and using it responsibly, not for personal gain, but for the benefit of all.
So it's about aligning ourselves with the cosmic flow, becoming instruments of the divine will.
Precisely. Now, alongside theurgy, contemplation was another cornerstone of Hermetic practice.
Contemplation.
Yeah.
Right. We talk about the importance of gnosis, the direct experiential knowledge of the divine.
Exactly. And contemplation was seen as a crucial pathway to cultivating that gnosis.
So what kind of contemplation we're talking about?
It's about quieting the mind, detaching from distractions, and directing your attention inward.
Sounds a lot like meditation.
It is similar. In fact, many Hermetic texts emphasize the importance of meditation as a way to purify the mind, connect with the divine, and ultimately achieve union with the source.
So we've got theurgy, which is about aligning ourselves with divine energies, and contemplation, which is about turning inward and seeking deeper understanding. What else did a Hermeticist's life involve? Did they just spend all day meditating and performing rituals?
Not at all. Remember that 6th pillar, ethics and virtue. This wasn't just an abstract concept, it was woven into the very fabric of daily life.
So it wasn't enough to just have the right beliefs or perform the right rituals. You had to actually be a good person, live a life of integrity and compassion.
Precisely. It was about embodying those virtues, compassion, honesty, self-control, and so on, in your everyday interactions, your thoughts, your words, and your deeds.
It was about striving to live in harmony with the divine will, not just in your spiritual practices, but in every aspect of your life. That's a pretty tall order. It's not just about seeking enlightenment for yourself, it's about making the world a better place through your actions.
Exactly, and that's what makes Hermeticism so compelling. It's not just a set of esoteric beliefs, it's a call to action, an invitation to align your life with a higher purpose. It's a reminder that the spiritual path is not just about personal transformation. It's about making a positive contribution to the world around you. And, as we've been discussing these practices and principles, I can't help but feel a sense of their relevance to our modern lives.
In what way?
Well, think about the challenges we face today. Climate change, political polarization, social isolation. These are all issues that stem from a sense of disconnection, from feeling separate from each other, from nature, from something larger than ourselves.
And Hermeticism offers an antidote to that.
Precisely. It reminds us that we are all interconnected, part of a vast web of being a living cosmos animated by a single divine source. It encourages us to look beyond our individual egos and recognize the inherent unity that binds us all.
That's a powerful message, especially in a world that often feels so fragmented and divided.
It is. And it goes beyond just a feel-good sentiment. It has practical implications for how we live our lives, how we treat each other, how we interact with the planet.
So by tapping into that sense of interconnectedness, we can start to address these global challenges in a more meaningful way.
Exactly. By recognizing our shared humanity, our connection to nature, our place in this grand cosmic dance, we can begin to heal the divisions that plague our world and create a more just compassionate and sustainable future.
Wow, that's incredibly inspiring. It makes you realize that these ancient teachings aren't just relics of the past. They hold valuable insights for navigating the complexities of the present and shaping a better future.
I couldn't agree more. And that's what I find so fascinating about exploring these ancient texts. They challenge us to think differently, to expand our awareness, and to see the world through a new lens. They remind us that wisdom is timeless, and that the search for meaning and connection is an ongoing journey that transcends time and space. But before we wrap up this deep dive into the Corpus Hermeticum, I think it's time we turn our attention to you, our listener.
That's a great idea. After all, the true value of this exploration lies in how it resonates with each individual, how it sparks new insights and inspires personal reflection.
Exactly. So we want to hear from you. What stood out to you most in this deep dive? What resonated with you on a personal level? What questions or reflections did it spark for you?
Take a moment. Pause the podcast if you need to, and really consider these questions.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, the journey into Hermeticism is a deeply personal one. It's about exploring your own connection to the divine, your place in the cosmos, and the potential for transformation that lies within you. So we've journeyed through this mystical landscape of the Corpus Hermeticum, explored its mysterious origins, its core principles.
Right, all those intriguing pillars of Hermetic thought.
Yeah, and it's clear that this text is not just some dusty old relic, it's brimming with timeless wisdom.
It really is. It speaks to something deep within us, something that transcends time and culture.
But here's where things get really interesting for me. How do we actually connect this ancient wisdom to our modern everyday lives? It's easy to get swept up in the fascinating ideas, but what does it all mean for someone, navigating the complexities of the 21st century?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The Corpus Hermeticum, it's not just a theoretical treatise. It offers practical guidance for living a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
So how do we bridge that gap between the ancient and the modern? How do we bring those timeless principles into the here and now?
Well, for starters, I think it's about remembering that there's more to reality than what we can see and touch.
Right. We live in a world that's so focused on the material, the measurable, the quantifiable.
Exactly. But the Corpus Hermeticum, it invites us to look beyond the surface, to consider the invisible, the spiritual dimension that underlies all of existence.
It's like that line from Poimandres that really struck me. That which is visible is the manifestation of the invisible. It's a powerful reminder that there's a whole unseen world operating beneath the surface.
Exactly. And that unseen realm, that connection to the divine source, the nous, it's something we all have the potential to tap into.
It's about recognizing that divine spark within each of us, that part that transcends the limits of our physical world and connects us to something far greater.
Precisely. And that brings us back to gnosis, doesn't it?
Right. Gnosis, that direct experiential knowledge of the divine.
It's not just about gathering information, but about experiencing a profound shift in consciousness, a sudden awakening to the truth of who we are and where we fit into the grand scheme of things.
It's about moving beyond the mind and tapping into something deeper, something more intuitive.
Exactly. And this transformation, as the Corpus Hermeticum suggests, it can radiate outwards, impacting how we relate to others, how we care for the planet, and how we approach the challenges we face.
It's like that hermetic principle, as above, so below.
Precisely. If we can cultivate inner harmony and align ourselves with that divine order, perhaps we can start to create a more harmonious world around us.
So it's not just about personal enlightenment. It's about making a positive impact on the world.
It is, and that's where the practical side of Hermeticism comes into play.
Right. All those practices we discussed, theurgy, contemplation, ethical living.
Exactly. These aren't just abstract concepts. They're tools we can use to bridge the gap between the spiritual and the material, to bring those lofty ideals into our everyday lives.
So it's not about escaping the world and meditating in a cave somewhere. It's about taking those insights that transformed awareness and applying them to our actions, our relationships, our choices.
Precisely. It's about living with intention, with awareness, with a sense of purpose that extends beyond the pursuit of material gain or fleeting pleasures.
I have to admit, it can feel like a daunting task sometimes, trying to live up to those ideals in a world that often pulls us in so many different directions.
I hear you. But I also find it incredibly empowering to think that we have this potential within us, this capacity to connect with something greater than ourselves, to transform ourselves, and in doing so perhaps even contribute to transforming the world around us.
It is empowering. And it's a message that resonates across cultures and throughout history. We find similar themes in countless spiritual traditions. This idea that we're not just physical beings, but spiritual beings having a human experience.
It's a perspective shift that opens up a whole new realm of possibilities.
It's like taking off a pair of smudged glasses and finally seeing the world with clarity. Everything becomes infused with meaning and purpose. We realize that we're not isolated individuals, but interconnected beings, threads in the vast tapestry of the cosmos, all part of this unfolding story of the universe.
And within that story, we each have a unique role to play, a contribution to make. It's not about striving for some unattainable perfection. It's about embracing our humanity flaws and all, and aiming to live a life that reflects our highest potential.
Beautifully said. And I think that's the heart of what the Corpus Hermeticum invites us to consider. It's not a rigid set of doctrines, but a call to awaken, to remember who we truly are, to live in alignment with that divine spark that resides within each of us.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the Corpus Hermeticum, we leave you with this final thought. This ancient wisdom, it's not just about accumulating knowledge. It's about embodying those principles in our daily lives.
It's about becoming living examples of those virtues, those truths that we've been exploring.
Exactly. It's about transforming ourselves from the inside out and letting that transformation ripple outwards, creating a more harmonious and just world for all.
So to our listeners, we encourage you to keep seeking, keep exploring, keep diving deep into those mysteries that ignite your soul.
And remember, the journey doesn't end here. This is just the beginning.
Until next time, may you find wisdom, guidance, and inspiration on your path.